There's a common theme that's happened in detailing, at least I've noticed in the 17 years since I started, and that's that detailing has gotten very complex. It's kind of shifted away from this like practical, simple bucket, mitt, soap, to and now we've moved into like what I'm effectively calling and thought about performance complexity, right? People are out here 12 different products just to watch the car, filming it all like it's a Hollywood production. And I'm pretty guilty of this too. It's not a Hollywood production. It's just me and Bryant over here at the shop. But really, when it comes to products, there's one common theme that I've noticed has gotten more and more over the course of my detailing career, and that it's just seemingly gotten so complex, so difficult. And really what this has led to is people just being totally confused. I mean, we talk about this and I'll cover a ton of things, but, buffing pads is a perfect example. Like there's no common, colorway. There's no common anything. And so it just leads to mass confusion, right? And I promise this isn't just a rant. It's just a conversation, something I've been kind of thinking of, noticing and trends and all that. But, where did it begin? And I remember when I first started learning how to detail, it was simple things like how to clay bar a car, right? And so the goal for me back then was to get the car clean, honestly, as quick as possible and give the best result possible, right? Simple products, clear processes, even though they were, there was, 3 different compounds or 3 different steps, right? It was still pretty clear and it was all results based. Right. And then as we saw kind of the rise of social media, especially YouTube, chemical guys kind of leading the charge of like not only complicated routines, but like complicated products. And that's really, I think, not chemical guys specifically, but I think that's where it all, as social media rose and people were looking for ways to stand out from each other, stand out from different brands, instead of, doubling down on making sure that their core line of products actually delivered results. What they did was they just started launching product after product after product after product, not necessarily better products, just different. And so it all became about like that flash, right? Like, how much foam? Oh, this one's mega foam. This one's super mega foam, right? And so we got all these weird things. And then it's like, well, do I need the car shampoo or do I need the, ceramic safe car shampoo, or do I need the mega foam or the super mega foam or the colored foam? Like, which one do I need? And then before long, we had literally brands releasing 4 soaps, 6 dressings, 16 different spray waxes. Then came the hybrid ceramic craze, right? The wet look gloss enhancer, right? All these weird terms and stuff that no one even knew. Even ceramic kind of at its core, graphene, right? Everyone's looking for the next flashy thing. And honestly, I get it because marketing, right? But the problem is the average person looks at this, and sometimes I even see it too as the professional detailer. I look at this and I go, I'm doing it all wrong. I got to clear everything out of the cabinet. I got to start over. And then pros, as a professional, you think, shoot, do I need that next new rinseless wash because it's a little bit better, right? When in reality, it's like I went back to O&R. I tried all the new rinseless washes. Went back to O&R and I'm like, I think O&R is still better, right? Oldie but a goodie, right? And so I think sometimes that flash gets us, but really we need to just get back to the core, right? And so, just last month, and this is kind of where it kind of sparked in me, maybe it was a couple weeks ago, had someone message me asking if they needed 4 different wheel cleaners because they're, different brake setups and carbon brakes and this brakes and that brakes and blah, 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 blah. And they literally had 4 different wheel cleaners. And they would use them all, and they would take about, 10 minutes to clean each wheel. And I'm like, man, you don't need all that. You don't need all that. Here's the caveat though. If you do like that and you want that, do it. right? I had someone else message me and they said, hey, I love your videos, whatever, but like, who do I trust in the detailing space? And it's like, I thought about it for a long time, and I kind of wanted to give like a list of people that I think are trustworthy. But then I realized like, you have to find that out for yourself, but you get the vibe, you know, right? Because the truth is detailing is not complicated. The brands of the industry just have made it this way, right? The goal at its core, I think Mike Phillips said this a long time ago, and it still rings true. Like, at its core, people want shiny cars, right? We want to remove the dirt, we want to restore the surface, and we want to protect it for the future. That's kind of how, when I look at my product brand, that's what I aim for. I want to remove the dirt safely as possible, right? I want to restore the surface. It was dirty. Now I want to make it clean. If I need to do paint correction or remove scratches, I want to do that. And then I want to protect it for the future. Very simple, right? And so I'm really trying to simplify while everyone is reaching for the, latest and greatest product. And now we've even seen it develop into processes where like processes, I guess it would be, have even gotten more complicated. So we've seen a shift recently over, hey, instead of, a bunch of, because people started to catch on to brands like Chemical Guys where it's like 84 different products in a spray wax. And we've started to think, hey, instead of having 84 different spray waxes, let's just make it super complicated on how to use the spray wax. So let's oversaturate the panel. Let's undersaturate the panel. Let's use 18 towels. Let's use a high GSM towel. Let's use a low nap towel, high nap towel. Don't use a Costco towel. Use a Costco towel. And so we've shifted from complicated product lines, which some people still have, obviously. If you look at the Meguiar's product line, it's like, holy crap, they got the Ultimate line, the Pro line, the Ceramic line, the blah, blah, blah line. They have like all these different lines, right? And it's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. And we're finally just getting smart enough as consumers to realize that, right? But so we've seen a slight shift from complicated product lines to complicated processes, right? Oh, don't mix product lines. Don't use that with your clay towel. Oh, you need our clay towel because it has special synthetic polymers in the clay. When it's like, no, it's not true. If you want to talk about differences in clay towels, I will take a little tangent here. There's only one brand that actually has the patent on the clay material. So if you're not using that one brand that has the patent on the clay material, they're all fakes and frauds, right? I don't think the patent's out till like 2028 or something like that. So we've just switched from complicated product lines to complicated processes and methods, right? And so one thing I tried to focus on, and I would definitely had a consulting call with the detailer, Ethan, yesterday. And one thing that I was kind of stressing to him too, the many things we talked about, but was like, hey, don't overcomplicate things. And one thing that I tried to do in my mobile detailing business was actually have as few amount of products as possible because it made things so much simpler. And if you're trying to scale and hire employees, you can't have 12 different products to do one thing. You can't have 4 different wheel cleaners because it'll confuse people. It'll confuse your employees. They won't know which one to use. You can't have 15 different soaps because they will guaranteed reach for the wrong soap. Guaranteed, right? And so, honestly, sometimes I try to go out and detail my own car or someone else's car, and I try to see how can I use as few amount of products as possible. And then sometimes I even try to get myself to use as few amount of like accessories, towels, tools, brushes, stuff like that, to see if I can accomplish the same thing with just less steps, less things. That's how I stumbled across the whole foam your car and don't pre-rinse idea. It was just a theory because I was thinking through my methods, thinking, is this overcomplicated? Are we overcomplicating things here and actually getting a worse result? The 2-bucket method is a perfect example. Overcomplicated for no reason. You actually don't need any bucket. You need to foam a dry car, rinse it. If you want to do a contact wash, you put your wash mitt underneath the windshield wiper, you foam the car again, and then you go in with your contact wash. And the safest way to wash it actually would be to every panel, use your pressure washer and wash out your wash mitt and then go on to the next panel. You don't need a bucket at all to wash your car. As you can tell, I'm a little passionate about this and a little frustrated by this. And so luckily I had my own product line now that I can kind of, change this. And that's exactly why I started the Jimbo's Detailing product line. I didn't want to sell hype. I want to sell results. So I don't want to sell 15 different washes. I want to sell one car wash that actually works, right? I want to solve problems, and I don't want a bunch of different stuff. I'm not interested in having 12 different soaps. I want one that absolutely crushes, right? That's why when I did a video and people are on the Super Soaper and seeing if I wanted to kind of, change the formula, and people are like, oh, just have one that's pH neutral and then don't. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. The Super Soaper can be brought down to pH neutral. I'm trying to make products that are adjustable so you can have actually a high pH and a low pH in one soap. It's versatile, it's powerful, and honestly, no BS. Foam's really good. It's not going to stain your plastics. I see other brands talking about how they're, pre-soaking with their all-purpose cleaner, and then the next video is don't wash your car with an all-purpose cleaner. Use our all-purpose cleaner because it's safer. It's like, what's even cooler than that? It's having a soap that works like an all-purpose cleaner that's actually safer than your all-purpose cleaner because the pH is close to neutral. Same with the cabin cleaner, the complete cabin cleaner. People are loving the complete cabin cleaner, So again, when I was testing stuff like the Super Soaper, right? I cared how it broke down the dirt, how it rinsed, how it left the surface behind, right? And I've turned down actually something that I plan on showcasing in some more videos is I've actually turned down a lot of product ideas because they didn't pass this like sniff test, right? I have a toughest shell that's infused with graphene I'm going to show in a future video. And the product works. It's really good. It's nice. It's like, I actually really like it. It's very slick, right? But and I'm going to do a whole YouTube video on it. But when I looked at it in the landscape of like, does the Jimbo's product line need this product? Would this make someone's life better than them having toughest shell? And I don't think it did. So I didn't launch it, right? There's no toughest shell with graphene. I made it. I'm going to show it in a YouTube video. I never launched it. So honestly, if you're tired of the noise, you're tired of, the overcomplication, whether it's product lines or systems, you're not alone. You're actually the exact person that I'm building Jimbo's Detailing for, right? I'm not interested in having the most amount of SKUs. I'm not interested in constantly overhyping the next launch. I just want to be the one you trust and to get the job done. That's it. Right? So many of you have already seen this and you do trust me. And so I want to make sure that I, say that I value you and I thank you for trusting the brand. And I'm just, simplicity does not mean less professional. I will say that. A lot of times that gets convoluted, and people that have very complex systems, processes, or product lines act like if you have less of any of those things, you are less professional. And the reality is probably the opposite is true. It's just more effective. And that's what my product line stands for. So if this message resonates with you, leave a comment, shoot me a message, share how you're feeling about this, the current landscape of the detailing industry, what you think. Have you noticed this too? And if you're looking for a change, hop on over to jimbosdetailing.com or check out rest of my YouTube videos, podcasts, whatever. But with that, I just wanted to get that off my chest, something that I've been kind of thinking about, mulling over, and really just wanted to get it out there. So hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.